They say its usual method of killing its prey is by hugging it to death. When in the water, it swims like a frog, and when on the shore, it walks on its hind legs with its head erect, in which position it measures 12 or 13 feet in height. Hello.
Welcome back.
All right, so this time, for the record, episode number 9.
Boom. Counting Cryptids, episode 9.
We talked about it ahead of time this time. I don't know if it made it in last time. Probably never. I never remember. We always do it wrong. Boom.
We looked it up this time. We're prepared.
We're in. We're starting. We're hot.
Coming in.
What are we talking about today, Connor?
With the Bunyip.
Boom, the Bunyip.
Or the word gaya.
I should have looked up how to pronounce this one.
Just do it.
Kian Pratty?
Kian Pratty, yeah.
Kian Pratty.
That's what I'm going with.
This is going to be a long episode.
Ugh.
Not in length. It's just going to feel like a really long episode. 12 to 13 feet, approximately.
So yeah. The
right.
Bunyip. Yep.
What is the Bunyip?
What is the Bunyip? That's a great question.
Okay, the Bunyip comes to us from Australian Aboriginal mythology. I saw that it was found in at least 9 regional variations across Aboriginal Australia, of course.
Oh, well, weird.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of... There's a couple of different names I saw, but the original name Bunyip has been traced back to the Wemba language. I think that's how you say that. I didn't look that one up either. So again, I apologize to any Australian Aboriginals listening to the podcast.
Or just Australians in general. Or really anybody listening to the podcast. If we've offended you, we apologize.
But Bunyip roughly translates to devil or evil spirit.
Yeah, pretty scared of the Bunyip.
In the 1850s, the word became more synonymous with like imposter or pretender in regards to like politicians and
in the 1990s, the Australian Prime Minister Paul Keating described an opposing party as a Bunyip or Bunyips, I guess. So it was put in the dictionary, I think. Probably.
I mean, at that point, it had to have been. That's not the first known written use of it either. So we'll get to that.
Yeah, it was also the name of a newspaper.
That's not true. That's not the first written use, because the first written use is a year later.
Yeah, it appeared in English print in
51.
1840s it had.
I had 51.
I got the word Bunyip may have appeared first in English print in mid-1840s. Don't have where.
We will get back to that momentarily then.
You can summon the Bunyip in Scribble Knots games.
I'm sorry, what? What is Scribble Knots?
Great question. Don't know. It's a game. I'm assuming there's scribbling involved.
I don't know. Show your work.
It was at the bottom of the Wikipedia page.
It had something to do with scribbles?
I have no idea what Scribble Knots is.
It's a Nintendo DS game, apparently.
You scribble.
Summon a Bunyip.
Apparently you can summon a Bunyip.
Let's see if I find a picture of this bitch. So I found Scribblenauts wiki fandom. There's a Jersey Devil.
Oh.
This looks like some large bat I don't know about.
A hool?
No. Here's the Bunyip. Yeah, it looks like a deer. All right, so I will make sure I link to this one. So real quick, if you could Google for me, Scribblenauts Bunyip. Hopefully the first one that comes up is something with it's got a horn, and it's got 2 large teeth sticking out of its mouth. The first tooth is the exact same as the horn on the back of its head. So you pull that image up for me and view it in full screen. Does its tail look like it's just pooping 3 turds out to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That was all that's about. I'm sorry, I probably peeked that out.
Dookie tail.
All I'm saying is it just looks like he's pooping. We'll definitely make sure I link to that photo.
It's aggressive. Unless you're playing the Bunyip in Scribblenauts,
okay.
yeah. But unless you're playing like Scribblenauts Unlimited, whatever the fuck that is, it's neutral.
I don't think our listener.
There's any Scribblenauts fans in there
knows a thing or two about Scribblenauts. So how about you get me learned?
Yeah, holler at me. I mean, I
holla at you boys.
I want to play it. If they've got cryptids in there, I want to check it out.
No, that's actually pretty rad. I'm into it. We'll see what.
I don't know what the gameplay is like.
Bet we could watch it on Twitch, Connor.
This thing from Down Under. I read one of the comments on the fandom page.
It said what?
This thing from Down Under.
This from Down Under.
Probably typo. It probably says this thing's from Down Under, but it says this thinga from Down Under.
This thinga from Down Under. Make sure.
And then somebody else commented and said, "This thing, he's not in Scribblenauts. Who wrote this article?"
It's an Easter egg, and you're clearly too dumb to know how to find him.
Sir, you have not played Scribblenauts. I'm calling bullshit on you, little cutie 4444.
So you would find a bunyip in Australia, obviously, since we said Australian Aboriginal mythology.
Often around swamps.
Swamps, billabongs, creeks, riverbeds, water holes, and a billabong, for the uninitiated, is a branch of a river forming a backwater or stagnant pool made by water flowing from the main stem during a flood.
I thought for sure you were going to say a brand of surfing wear. You pack-sun working son of a bitch.
I haven't worked there in a decade.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
2008.
What does this bunyip look like?
Well, the descriptions vary pretty widely. There's a lot of things. So, commonly described as a dog-like face, a crocodile-like head, dark fur, a horse-like tail, flippers, and walrus-like tusk or horns, or a duck-like bill. Also, I've seen descriptions that say it has feathers, fins, tusks, claws, beards, a duckbill, a horsetail, a single massive eye, and a stomach mouth, which I don't know what the fuck means.
The only thing I can think of is like a pelican. Though I don't think they digest food in their gullet.
I don't think they do either. A stomach mouth. Another description I saw that was pretty fun is an enormous starfish.
I didn't run across that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. So the commonality seems to be that it's large enough to eat a man, but it kind of seems like it's just like been used as a catch-all term for like
weird shit,
for something unexplained.
Yeah.
So kind of running into some of the similar things that we did with Doarku, especially just some translation things or misidentification or
I saw a description that said that it looks similar to a snake with a man and a beard.
Yeah.
What does that even mean? Snake with a man.
Did you have the other description from that quote too?
I'll read the rest of it because it...
who's it come to us from?
It's from the Geelong Advertiser.
Okay.
In 1845. And it describes the bunyip in great detail, and I have down that it was the first recorded use of the term.
See, I do have that as well now, in next to that, but then in another spot I have also that it was the first. Never mind, that's first documented. Never mind. I misread what I had said. I apologize. Continue.
So 1840s.
1845, yes.
It goes on to say, the bunyip, then, is represented as uniting the characteristics of a bird and of an alligator. It has the head resembling an emu, with a long bill, an extremity of which is a transverse projection on each side, with serrated edges like the bone of a stingray. Its body and legs partake of the nature of the alligator. The hind legs are remarkably thick and strong, and the forelegs are much longer but still of great strength. The extremities are furnished with long claws. And then that's where our quote started. It's a clusterfuck of animals.
Again, this is where we're getting into this like kind of catch-all term for something that you aren't quite sure what is. I saw the boogeyman, you know what I mean? Like that's just kind of like maybe we'll do an episode on the boogeyman and see if there's like an actual thing that is the boogeyman. But
yeah,
again, it seems it's just like the thing in the monster under your bed, the thing in the closet. That is, you know what I mean? It's just the boogeyman.
The scary thing.
Yeah, it seems
in the wilderness.
The animal that I wasn't sure what was is the bunyip. Maybe that is the actual translation of the word. But again, it does. It's the
evil spirit.
It's been lost in time or in actual translation.
Yeah. Some of the depictions that I saw look like a Siberian tiger.
Yeah, some of them look like a fucking rad panther.
Yeah, man. Big fangs,
that
big...
main image that was like the original one that I saw where I was like, we're doing an episode on this bitch.
Yeah, badass
I will
fucking
make sure
creature.
I link to that picture too. It's a very cool one.
And then I think we also need to link to the, like, I'm sure you saw it, the fucking weird-ass looking motherfucker.
Yes, with the single enormous eye.
Yeah.
And potentially that is the stomach mouth motherfucker too. Because
there you go.
Maybe that's what it is. So it has like a little butthole on the end, and then like a little thin thing, and then it like bags out like really wide, like a stomach.
Digests its food and the tip of its...
Oh, I see. I did. Oh, that's what stomach mouth means.
Yeah.
That it just digests its food in its mouth. I thought it was just like...
Is that like a snake?
Describing the way it looked. No, snakes just swallow shit whole.
And then digest them.
But its mouth...
Where does their mouth end and where does their throat begin?
Where does your mouth end and where does your throat begin?
Right here.
It's the same on a snake.
And then here. And then there's esophagi.
I think esophagus is right here.
Yeah, you're right.
Because throat is just a general term for this region. I think esophagus is the tube. Is that maybe a breathing tube, though?
I think there's both. You can't do
have
both.
Two separate esophagi?
You got a breathing tube, and then you have an esophagus.
Esophagus is where the food goes?
Yeah.
What?
I think we talked about this a bit, but possibly half horse, half alligator.
Yeah, I ran through that stuff a little quick, but it's kind of just like a fucking... Take a wheel, and each slot... Oh, God, this is a terrible analogy. You spin a wheel, and each slot on the wheel has a different part of an animal.
Yeah.
And then you just
come up with
spin it
5
until
different parts.
you have picked a piece from every animal, and then you're done. It's almost like part of it
tusks.
seems like a giant fucking platypus.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
In some of it with like a duck bill, and like flippers and dark fur and like a dog-like face and a crocodile-like head. Like some of it sounds like a platypus.
If you didn't know what a platypus was, you might just describe it as this fucked up.
Well, platypus may as well be. I think technically it was a cryptid for a really long time because they didn't think it was real. They thought it was fucking fake, and they're fucking weird as hell.
I still don't know that they're real, dude.
On the back of their fucking on their back feet. They have poison spurs.
I will not be convinced that a platypus is real until I see one in real life.
What about cheetahs, Connor? Are they real?
That's more believable than a fucking mismatch of
maybe
platypus
seen a
parts.
cheetah in a zoo. Now that I think about it, but probably not a platypus.
Actually, I don't know if I've seen a cheetah in a zoo.
Snow leopards for sure. I've seen a lot of stuff. Shit, maybe not a cheetah.
If you've seen a cheetah in a zoo, take a picture of it and send it our way. Then we can see the cheetah that you saw in the zoo. But in 1847, a skull was found near the Murrumbidgee. Sorry.
I'm glad you have this down because I was going to get it down, but I definitely did not. I will make sure to link to the picture of this skull.
Yeah. So in the Murrumbidgee, I'm just going to go with that. I'm sorry if that's wrong. River in New South Wales. They found a skull, and in the Tasmanian Journal, Volume 3, W.S. Macleay, it's Macleay, wrote about this skull thinking that it was a bunyip and that it was possibly a half horse, half alligator in its time of living. But what I saw was that it was later proven to be the cranium of a disfigured horse or calf. Though I don't know.
Oh, I did. Okay, first of all, that sounds terrifying. The combination of an alligator and a horse.
Yeah. I just picture like a horse body
with an
alligator
head?
tail and no head, just a horse with little stubby legs, alligator legs, just running around in the field.
I picture a full-on horse with just an alligator head.
That's terrifying.
Yes.
Does it have an alligator tail? I feel like...
I don't know. I can't get past the head in my mind. It's just... Yeah, it's... so if you've seen Silent Hill, the triangle head guy that drags the axe everywhere, that's like what the alligator head in my mind is. The equivalent of like that head on that guy is like that alligator head on that. You're like, what the fuck?
What is going on?
He's just dragging an axe also.
The alligator horse?
The horse, yeah. The bunyip.
How does he hold his hooves?
So also, it has some kind of abilities. It said the mythology, the story is that it was like preying upon women and children at night.
Yes.
And they ventured too close to the water. So I guess just
and
keeping
livestock.
people from running away. Yeah, specifically livestock. Again, hugging people to death, super weird. One story tells of the bunyip hypnotizing a woman for several weeks and keeping her as a slave until the spell was broken.
I had
by
not
a
heard this
thunderstorm.
one. That's epic.
That's fucking weird. I don't really. Yeah, it's weird.
Some child molester.
It said a woman.
A young
Let's just
woman.
rapist then.
Yeah, just a general rapist. General rapist. I watched How I Met Your Mother the other day.
I would like to tell you that I want to remember to do that every single time I see that episode. I'm like, God, that is so funny. I want to do that in my life whenever I hear someone say those things.
That was the first time.
I forget immediately every time. Like, part of that maybe is like something to do with the way that I live my life. That's fine. But I mean, I want to remember, and I'm just like to say that I'm really glad that you did that. That was very funny. I appreciate that moment, Connor.
Oh, glad I could bring that up on record. I had one legend from these Aboriginal stories of a man named Bunyip who broke the rainbow serpent's greatest law by eating his totem animal.
Yes.
Reading this, I was like, well, what are these things? Like,
a totem animal.
I understand what a totem animal is, but like, what the fuck is a rainbow serpent?
So that'd be like a religious thing. That'd be like
a dragon?
The good spirit. The
good dragon?
That's not the good spirit. There is actually,
good
that's
spirits.
the next one is the good spirit. But
yeah,
it's like an important one. The rainbow spirit. His greatest law. He's the rule maker. Clearly, if he has laws.
They saw a rainbow in the sky
but he was banished.
Banished by the good spirit. Biami.
Yes.
I hope that's right.
He became the evil spirit.
Yeah. So, and then he started luring tribesmen and their livestock into the water so he could eat them all.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Sometimes also described as like benevolent and not malevolent.
Just chill.
But just like, just hanging out and like really like good intentioned towards people and mankind. I don't fucking understand.
Just like if you play Scribble Knots Unlimited.
One was allegedly killed by a spear.
I came across this, but I didn't find too much more information on it.
Yeah, I don't. But again, like as far as like if you had to defend yourself from one,
a spear
it appears to just be like an animal. So specifically a spear, or just like again like the way that you would kill anything. Guns and explosions is typically the way to go in my mind.
Harpoons.
Yeah.
I had in one story that we will get to. Just
get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Just do the story. Hit me.
This is actually the next one on my list. So this is going to go back to William Buckley of Cheshire, England. And he was found guilty of theft, sent to Australia to serve his sentence of 14 years. But Shortly after arriving, he managed to escape imprisonment. And so he found himself at home. He made himself at home with the Wathaurong, wing that one, Aborigines, and spent the next 30 years with them. And for some reason, this was in the story, he took on 2 wives during that time. But in 1835, he came out of hiding and was pardoned of his crime. But in 1852, somebody wrote a book about him, and this dude was named John Morgan, and the book was titled The Life and Adventures of William Buckley. Sounds like a very Western fucking book.
Yeah. I think part of that is like Adventures of...
Yeah. William H. Bonney.
Adventures of William H. Bonney.
I just made that up. I was listening to Keeping It Fast in the car.
Fucking shout out. Also, then, we'll just like to take this moment to... Oh, shit, you know what? We never did our episode on if Australia was actually real, but I'm just going to move past that and just thank Australia for all the amazing metal bands that have come out of Australia real quick.
Absolutely.
If you happen to be from there...
Kudos to you.
Thanks, I guess. I don't know if you had any role to play in that whatsoever.
They've got some good shit if for a made-up country. So this book, The Life and Adventures of William Buckley, William Buckley himself shared with John Morgan that his experience with the Bunyip when he was traveling for several days to a place known as Kironamat, where a large lake was. While at the lake, he describes the Bunyip he sees, and I've got a fucking long quote I'm going to try and get through in one take. In the deep water rivers is a very extraordinary amphibious animal, which the natives call Bunyip, of which I could never see any part, except the back, which appeared to be covered with feathers of a dusky gray color. It seemed to be about the size of a full-grown calf, and sometimes larger. The creatures only appeared when the weather is very calm and the water smooth. I could never learn from any of the natives that they had seen either the head or the tail, so that I could not form a correct idea of their size or what they were like. Here, the Bunyip, the extraordinary animals I had already mentioned, were often seen by the natives, who had a great dread of them, believing them to have some supernatural power over human beings, so as to occasional death, sickness, disease, and such like misfortune. They have also a superstitious notion that the great abundance of eels in some of the lagoons where animals resort are ordered for the Bunyip's provision, and they therefore seldom remain long in such neighborhoods after having seen the creature. When alone, I several times attempted to spear a Bunyip, but had the natives seen me do so, it would have caused great displeasure. And again, if I had succeeded in killing or even wounding one, my life would probably have paid forfeit. They considered the animal, as I had already said, something supernatural. So like I said, yeah. They had quite a bit of supernatural characteristics according to the Aborigines. And you said you could just kill him by a spear.
Yeah, that guy was trying to spear him too.
He's trying to spear him, but
apparently spear's the way to go. Maybe there's something specific about that.
He was trying to spear him, but everybody thought that he'd be fucked if he'd killed one.
Yeah, everybody was like, no way, dude, don't do it kind of thing.
I mean, there's no proof that you're going to die if you spear one, but... But
you're going to die if you spear one.
Yeah, just don't spear one. Just stay away from them. Just stay away from the water, as we've come to learn on Counting Cryptids. That was in an article I read off mysteriousuniverse.org by Nick Redfern, and he does some good shit.
He does a lot. Dude writes a ton.
And he's on like History Channel and shit.
Yeah, man. Legit.
Legit.
So the Chalikum Bunyip.
Okay.
Let's say is a carving of a Bunyip made by Aborigines in the bank of Fiery Creek that measures 11 paces long and 4 paces in extreme breadth. It's first documented in 1851 by the Australian, which is the name of a newspaper. So that was where I got confused earlier. The paper claimed that the creature had been speared after killing an Aboriginal man. It was suggested that the Aboriginals returned annually to retrace the image until the 1850s.
This is the speared bunyip you were talking about?
The outline no longer exists, but I will make sure. There's photos of it from the newspaper. I will include a link to that photo as well.
There's an outline where it died?
What?
There's an outline where
they
it
made
died?
a drawing of it after that happened, so then they kept coming back every year to retrace the image, and then it just fades away.
Like
or it's a carving
outline?
Yeah, I don't know how that shit works. Well, it was a carving.
Oh, okay.
So just retrace it, but for some reason it no longer exists. I'm not really sure why. But
people kept fucking with it.
Probably.
Kept rubbing the...
It says carving, but the thing it really looks like a painting. I'm not sure
how
it works, because it's like darkened. So maybe it's just been darkened on the image so you can see it. I'm not 100%. Well, again, I will link to the image I found associated with that.
I'll have to go back and look at that image. Back in 1818, James Meehan and his explorer buddy Hamilton Hume, Hume, found bones of an enormous size in Lake Bathurst in New South Wales. So there's a lot of New South Walians.
Again, real quick, I did see that it was kind of spread all across the continent.
I did too, but then when I ran into all these stories, a lot of them are from New South Wales.
In the same spot, yeah.
So maybe check that area first, and then work your way out. They thought the creature may have looked like a manatee or hippopotamus. And then in 1821, a Mr. E.S. Hall wrote
Mr. S. Hall!
S. Hall! He's over here, S. Hall!
S. Hall!
This S. Hall! He wrote a letter to the editor of the Sydney Gazette and the New South Wales Advertiser, describing his multiple run-ins. He's got 2, and I will read quotes of his...
He's seen it twice?
He's seen it twice.
Dude. What? Saw 1818. He's probably dead. Huh?
He encountered him.
Rest in peace,
he is probably long dead. So his first one, he is describing how he sees this bunyip out in the distance of the water. He writes, "My attention was attracted by a creature casting up the water and making a noise, in sound resembling a porpoise, but shorter and louder. The head only was out of the water. At the distance I stood, about 100 yards, it had the appearance of a bulldog's head, but perfectly black. The head floated about as though the animal were recreating itself. It's cut up the water behind, but the quantity thrown up evinced neither strength nor bulk. It remained about 5 minutes and then disappeared." So that's his first sighting.
Okay.
Interesting. Bulldog face.
His next sighting.
Number 2. As I was dressing, a creature at the distance of about 180 or 150 yards suddenly presented itself to my view. It had risen out of the water before I perceived it, and was then gliding on the smooth surface with the rapidity of a whaleboat, as it appeared to me at the time. Its neck was long, apparently about 3 feet out of the water, and about the thickness of a man's thigh. The color a jet black. The head was rather smaller in circumference than the neck, and appeared surrounded with black flaps, which seemed to hang down, and gave it a most novel and striking appearance. The body was not to be seen, but from the rippling of the water I judged it to be no longer than the neck. Some interesting sightings.
Fucking weird. I don't understand why every single sighting is so different.
Even his 2 sightings that he saw are different.
It doesn't. It was the same thing. It looked nothing like the first one, though.
This one had a bulldog's head.
The first one was a bulldog head.
The second one had a long neck.
I guess it could still have a bulldog head with a long neck.
Yeah. Flaps, black flaps. Could be the
I would
bulldog
also,
ears.
anything that I would describe as being like covered in black flaps, I would then not also immediately describe as striking.
Striking black flaps.
With those striking black flaps covering all of its body.
What? A flap.
Like they're dog ears, like they're over, but they're not like
Flappy.
big floppy ears, like I want to say a beagle, but
Other dogs.
yeah, beagles have big ears.
Yeah.
I also have big ears.
Nearly a century after Hall's alleged sightings, in 1921, near the new place. It's a new place. It's not New South Wales. It's the Southern Highlands town of Robertson.
Of course.
This sighting was reported in Weird Australia. Real reports of uncanny creatures, strange sightings, and extraordinary encounters. Which
Is that the name of the magazine?
I don't know if it's a magazine.
Is that like the name of it? That's one really long name.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we went through every one of those names when we were trying to decide what we were going to name our podcast.
Yeah, read it back to me one more time, the name.
Uncanny creatures, strange sightings, extraordinary encounters.
100%. I feel like all of those were on the long list at one point.
This one book destroyed every dream of one of those working. So yeah, I'm just gonna read this one, like I've read the other ones.
Yep, do it.
A party of men who live by means of their skill at shooting went out. They returned terrified and related that they came upon the thing basking in the sun on the side of a hole supposed to be bottomless, situated about the center of the swamp, and at their approach, the creature, which they stated to approximate the size of a 2-year-old steer, and which appeared to possess 2 short, broad fins or flippers, and in color was a dirty white or very light gray, took fright and plunged into the hole. So another one.
We're just accepting the fact that a bottomless hole exists too?
It's 1921, man.
I mean, that's fair.
Bottomless could be like 30 feet.
I mean, there's that one fucking like cave system where the stairs go down and they've never found the bottom of the stairs, and that like keeps me up at night sometimes. Just thinking about that, I'm like, I might be willing to sacrifice my life to see and just know where the fuck that ends. Because like you can't. The way it I don't know if you know anything about this, if you've heard about this at all, but
Yes.
It's like it's so far down. You have to take supplies with you because you have to like sleep and eat and go to the bathroom while you're fucking climbing down these stairs for days. You can't physically like take enough stuff with you to get down as long
And
as
come
it
back
takes. Yes, you get to a point of no return and have not reached the bottom. Like, it's fucking insanity. This isn't necessarily the right platform to do an episode on this, but like I want to
Bonus episode.
I want to look into that shit so bad because that keeps me up at night sometimes.
100% I'm on board with that. Okay, the final story that I've researched, and I think collectively we've researched, is in a 1907 magazine, another magazine. It's called The Bookfellow. And I tried to find like a PDF or anything that I could, read this. It's not really
from the book
a
itself.
good story. It's from this
What's it
magazine. The Bookfellow.
The Bookfellow.
It's a magazine. The Bookfellow.
Okay, I was saying that's a really, really shitty name for a book, but
This is
a slightly better name for a magazine.
yeah. So it's not a encounter story.
Was Book Aficionado already taken?
God, I hope not. It's gonna be my new magazine, Book Aficionado. About
Like books, read this magazine.
Instead of
Sorry. Continue.
So this magazine held an Australian-wide competition for the best drawing of a bunyip, and so some of those Google pictures, I believe, according to the source that I got this information from, were from that thing, but I couldn't verify because I didn't have any of the 4 issues of the magazine that these pictures were published in. But a winner was decided. Don't know who won. Don't know what the picture looked like. This is a very very shitty story to
this
end
is
on.
a fantastic one.
Should've
I'm
done
into
this
that
one
story.
first. But if you're from Australia, and I did look and see what libraries they are available in, and there is at least 4. So if you're in Australia, just like send me a
I have
picture.
actually seen
of some of them.
there is some downloads in Australia, a number of downloads. So it
Yeah.
looks like maybe
We
there's
know you're
somebody
listening.
listening to a couple of episodes in
Head
Australia,
over
more than
to,
one episode. If you want to help us out,
One
we'll
of those,
give you a mad shout out.
Absolutely.
Not like it'll be cool. Like I'm gonna be really angry when I give you said shout out.
Anger shout out. Like a shout
This
out.
fucking guy did everything that I asked him to do. Okay,
Good on you, guy.
God or girl, sorry,
Yeah.
male or female,
Guy
whatever,
is-
whoever you want to be, whatever.
Guy is not, sex-based.
Anyway, we're gonna move past that.
Yeah. That's all the stories I had.
Okay, so some proposed explanations for as what this could. That face is so turtly. You had kind of mentioned something similar to this earlier, but didn't really say that as it being an explanation. But I saw that elephant seal was a pretty common one.
Yes.
They can. They're known to like follow rivers farther inland than is commonly known by like the public.
Like tiger
I
sharks.
guess. Yeah, like that kind of thing where you just like end up with bull sharks in fucking
Bull sharks,
Lake Michigan, was it?
Yeah.
Terrifying. Yeah, things like that where it just makes its way up. and
What the fuck?
some of the descriptions are kind of weird like that. It's got like a floppy nose, like elephant seal. Sometimes that's described as a beak by people.
Okay.
So that kind of fits some of those weird descriptions in weird ways. It doesn't have legs really though, so that one's kind of strange.
But a lot of those things said that they only saw the head, and like
or from the back or
Yeah.
weird things like that. But
they
then
didn't see the.
in the one that was just from the back seemed more like it was like in the, I want to say jungle. Like it seemed like it was not.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one seemed more like a bird to me, which it segues next into my next one, which would be a southern cassowary. Originally, the first written account detailed that the bunyip, quote, laid pale blue eggs of immense size, possessed deadly claws, powerful hind legs, and a brightly colored chest. Which, if you don't know what,
that's a fucking bird.
That's
You
a
just
cassowary,
You
yeah.
just described a bird. I don't know what a cassowary.
a cassowary is like a really aggressive ostrich or an emu.
That sounds fucking terrifying.
Yeah, fucking shout out to okay. So Far Cry 5 just came out. That's cool.
Mhm.
I want to say Far Cry 3. It might have been 4, but Far Cry 3. There's like animals that just like exist in that game, and you just like stumble upon them and they start attacking you, kind of thing. And those are in one of them, and they're kind of
Shit.
fucking terrifying. And I'm not like a big fan of birds as it is. So yeah.
I don't know if flightless birds are more or less terrifying.
They're big. Let me get a size on a cassowary.
Most flightless birds, but like maybe besides penguins, are quite large. Emus,
Even
ostriches.
there's some penguins that were like 6 feet tall. I think they're extinct now, but emperor penguins are pretty big.
That's terrifying. Even I don't know. I like penguins.
Okay, so females are bigger and more brightly colored. Adult southern cassowaries are 1.5 to 1.8 meters tall, which is 4.9 to 5.9 feet tall. Although some females may reach 2 meters, 6.6 feet, and weigh up to 129 pounds.
Shit.
It's a big fucking bird, son. And it's a weird looking bird. I will link to an image of a cassowary. Connor did not know what one was, so don't feel bad if you didn't know what one is. They kind of have like a weird blue head and like almost like a turkey gobble gizzard thing hanging below that's kind of like red pink. They look evil as fuck because birds are Satan. It has like a weird like plate on top of its head, and then its body looks like fur, not feathers. It's like black fur. It kind of looks like a cow, but then it just has like a bird.
Dude, birds.
Fucking gross.
I hadn't run across that in my research, but I think this is my favorite explanation. Yeah, of what a bunyip might be.
An angry bird.
No, this next one, the one that I'm about to present to you.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you came across it in your research. So some people will think that it could be a surviving diprotodon.
Yes.
This is my favorite because dinosaurs and prehistoric animals.
Not a dinosaur, but yeah.
prehistoric animals.
It's a Pleistocene.
Yeah. Megafauna.
It's the largest known marsupial to have ever lived.
Yeah, and so Diprotodon means 2 forward teeth, apparently, and is said to have gone extinct nearly 46,000 years ago. And like you said, is the largest marsupial that ever lived and dwelled in open forests, grass, woodlands, and stayed close to water and ate leaves, shrubs, and some grasses. And bones of these massive koala cousins have been found across Australia, and the largest that they had found were the size of a hippopotamus. Which is quite large.
The sizing they were given on some of the ones for the bunyip was like the size of a cow.
Yeah.
Or a calf, maybe they said, but I think a cow was like around the size, so a hippopotamus doesn't sound like absurdly out of the size range.
Especially that's the largest one they found.
I'm super into these as well. I'd seen a couple of other different species as well that I am going to maybe try and read, but probably won't make it into the episode. I'll try and remember to include the names.
We should definitely try to include Diprotodon.
That one definitely will. The other ones is like Zygomatris, Nototherum, and Palochetus. I probably butchered all of those. I am not a biologist or scientist of any kind, or an archaeologist. All of them just look like stupid bears.
Yeah.
It's like the recreation software is like weird. It looks like a bear with like a triceratops horn on its nose.
Badass.
That's the Zygo whatever one. Oh, this guy's kind of cute. Whoa, that looks like a photo of one.
That'll be epic.
This must just be a Photoshop. It's got to be Photoshopped. This looks kind of like a taper. Like it looks like it has like a regular thing and then like a separate nose on top of.
Yeah, that's what I came across.
This is actually a different one, the Palochetus, but I have the other one. I had that Diprotodon whatever up.
I'm going with Diprotodon.
Diprotodon?
Yeah.
Diprotodon. That's a fucking badass name.
Right?
Yeah, okay, so the way that I would describe the Diprotodon is if you combined a bear and a sloth into one thing and then made its nose a rock.
Rock nose? With teeth.
I mean, I don't see any teeth in this specific one. This one's being ridden by a Tasmanian tiger.
Ridden?
I mean, it's on its back, so humped or ridden, I guess.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, picture a marsupial and then make it be large.
I was gonna say, I guess I had seen that as far as that, it was either they were describing like a cultural memory of the extinct Australian marsupials, or they were actually describing like a living, existing, should be extinct marsupial.
Humans lived during those times.
Not as maybe. So, yeah. But the cultural memory kind of thing. So
yeah,
just like
it's
get passed
ingrained
down.
in your memory.
Additionally, could have stemmed from Aboriginals coming into contact with prehistoric bones. Was another theory I saw as well. So if you find these bones of this thing and you're like, what the fuck is this guy?
What is a supermassive fucking skeleton? What could it be?
So is it almost that time again?
Yeah.
Did you have a pros and cons list?
Nope.
Okay, I had a small bit on there, and I talked about the thing on my cons before. I guess start with that one. Again, it just seems kind of like it's a catch-all for anything unknown.
Agreed.
I saw again descriptions describing it as a predator, and other ones as a herbivore, and the descriptions of what it looks like vary so widely. Again, leading back to the Doarku episode, where it seems like it may just be misidentification of existing animals or whatever. But as far as the pros go, the cultural memory is like a big one. Also, I'm a huge fan of just like still existing prehistoric things, or like something that we knew existed a long time ago and we were pretty sure it was extinct.
Coelacanth.
Like, or like the Tasmanian tiger, how now there's like some weird sightings of that shit going on again, and it
Yeah,
almost seems
that's
like
something
like
we need to
might
cover
have to
as
do an
well.
episode on the Tasmanian tiger, which is like a little bit different than some of the other stuff that we've been doing too. But at the same, because like again, there's photos of the last known ones in existence in captivity, and those like, oh god damn it, I'll try to remember to include a photo of one of those too, because they're pretty cool.
You don't have to. We're gonna do an episode on them.
Okay, cool. I will not include a photo then. Fuck y'all.
Just
Go look it up on your own.
yourself, fucker.
Tasmanian tigers, cool as hell.
Yeah.
There was something else that I want to say you had said that also the cave paintings were interesting. When damn it. Okay, I need you to pull that one up. Actually, I wish we had done this at the time. Challicum. Challicum Bunyip.
One more time.
Challicum. So there should be, in the photos, there's like a black smudge kind of thing, and it kind of looks like an elephant seal shape to me. Or potentially the body and neck of a cassowary.
Challicum. Okay. Didn't pop up on my recommended thing.
You could probably also try Fiery Creek, but...
that looks like a whale. Whale. That's a bird.
Looks like an elephant seal, or like potentially a cassowary. So you have like an oblong body, 2 legs, and a head. So it kind of looks like a bird, or it kind of looks like a seal. It does kind of look like a whale. It's just get that shape. I mentioned it earlier. We'll link to the photo.
I could see a bird, yeah. Now that you say that. It's like one of those pictures where do you see the wine glass or do you see the 2 people kissing or whatever it is?
Pretty similar shape to this elephant seal. And it was supposedly like after the animal had killed someone, it was speared and then they drew it. Okay, real quick, one thing I will say also. So Diprotodon. The skeleton kind of looks similar to, like, the skull looks a little bit similar to an elephant skull in the way that when you look at an elephant skull, it looks like it is a goddamn giant cyclops.
That's epic.
Have you seen a skull of an elephant? I will link to a photo of this
giant
one.
Eye sockets.
It's just like one big, like where the trunk is or something, or like it's combined with the thing. There's
the
not
trunk
2
is,
defined eye, like where like human eyes are. There's like sockets. You get it. Elephant, it just looks like it's a fucking cyclops. It's pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
So I could see this, like the single eye description as like the Diprotodon skeleton. So if you have these cultural memories plus people stumbling upon like bones, and then you see unknown things just around as it is, or the platypus, just shit like that, I can see where this kind of could just come from.
Yeah, and the nose is like, in these recreations of a Diprotodon are like very in the middle, very large compared to their eyes. Like this picture, if I don't blow it up, it's like you can hardly see the eyes. So I could guess I could see the nose being mistaken for an eye.
Oh, okay. Also that, yeah.
But yeah, like the nose cavity and the skull, it looks like, I think it's a nose cavity, looks like that might be where an eye would be. Because I don't see many, like a lot of these, the eye sockets don't look like they're through the skull, but more like just indents.
Just concaved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So I think I kind of just got off the fence in that section. I kind of think it's just that cultural memory accompanied with, but maybe finding remains, fossilized remains of extinct creatures. I'd love there to be more extinct stuff. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff hiding out in the bush out there.
If it is real, I think it's a Diprotodon, but a lot of the sightings say they're in the water, and I don't know. I mean, they're pretty big beasts. I guess if they're more like hippopotamuses, they spend a lot of time in there, but that would lead me to believe that they are hairless. So I don't know. I don't know. Marsupials are aquatic animals.
Sloths can swim.
I'm not debating that it can swim, but
Holy shit, real quick about the cassowary. It can run up to 31 miles per hour through dense forest underbrush. A cassowary can also jump nearly 5 feet straight up in the air and swim. Apparently it's like really good at swimming. So especially like a fucking wet bird that does not have feathers, it has fur. That'd look weird as hell. This looks super weird in the water, man.
Yeah, very on par with the cassowary.
Jesus.
This guy's got a fucking riot shield.
Defending himself with a fucking rusty metal shield from a giant 6-foot bird that is just trying to drop kick him in the fucking... Oh my god. Savage animals.
They look super prehistoric.
That plate on their head is so prehistoric.
Yeah.
That is the only way to describe it. Like, it looks like a tooth.
This picture I'm looking at, they're massive.
They're fucking big birds, man. They can get up to 6 feet tall.
They're massive, and then they've got this big plate on their head. What the fuck? If you don't think that dinosaurs are real, I want to post this picture because in the foreground of this picture,
I think that's the one I'm gonna use.
Yeah. But these look very dinosaur-esque. Like, this one almost doesn't even look like it has a beak.
They're weird looking. I don't know who in their right mind would fucking... Ugh. I'm into the other ideas, and I love those theories, but it's just... I think it's...
They're just too many differing descriptions that I can't put a pin on it, the exact one it is. And they don't really correlate with each other too well.
The descriptions are opposing. It seems very apparently a different animal in most instances, and especially with like talking about like the eggs that it's laying being really large, and it adds up to.
And it could be the case that these are all being thrown into the Bunyip because it's so widely known, whereas they're just different cryptids altogether.
Well, and at the top too, I had mentioned that there was I had seen that there was at least 9 regional variations of this creature. So if maybe it's like, oh, this word roughly translates to Bunyip, which roughly translates to, so you have a lot of like translation issues in getting that resolved. So maybe each of these names is specific to the Bunyip, and they're all getting lumped into one, but like each of them are different creatures. So one of them is the diprotodon, one of them is just a cassowary, one of them is an elephant seal or whatever, but then they all got lumped into Bunyip when English-speaking people were trying to get involved, I guess, is the only way I can think of to say that.
Yeah, they always seem to fuck things up.
Europeans
from England.
I mean, which is also in turn us, but...
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely got a good history of different stories behind it. We shared quite a few, and there are more.
There's not a ton of recent sightings. I didn't see any like photographic evidence of anything like that either, so that's making it harder for me to back this as being flesh and blood.
Yeah.
That fucking first photo I saw, the first 2 photos, like the one with like the like panther thing, and then the one with the weird eye, like Dr. Seuss fucking painting looking motherfucker. Cool as hell. But I don't know. But now it's time for the real question, Connor.
What is that?
Between the Bunyip and the Brosno dragon, who would win?
You make me think back to the Brosno dragon.
I know, and I don't even remember recording that episode, and I haven't listened back to it to make notes yet. So, all right, here's what I'm going to say.
The lake monster.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm refreshed a bit.
Did you look at your notes?
Yeah.
Okay.
The giant mutant beaver versus the cassowary.
Yes.
Brosno dragon versus the Bunyip.
Yes.
Who wins? I don't know.
All right. I'll go. You always get mad at me for putting you on the spot first. The Bunyip is big enough to eat a man.
Yes.
The Brosno dragon was big enough to eat an airplane.
You've got a point. They also ate men and horses.
The Bunyip ate livestock.
True. What kind of livestock do they have in Australia?
You know, the same livestock they have everywhere. I think livestock pretty much refers to
Cows and pigs.
Cows, pigs, sheep, goats.
Okay.
Where there's a goat sucker. So okay, this is kind of tough because I don't know if can the Bunyip like hypnotize the Brosno dragon? Like,
I think it was specifically humans.
I mean, I don't know if you can. Yeah, I suppose that's fair. Can you hypnotize an animal? Because like, don't you have to kind of be willing to be hypnotized? Isn't that like kind of part of the thing, or not? If it's a spell, I feel like if it's a spell, you could hypnotize an animal. It's like a supernatural thing to it. Like, I feel like,
man, it's just so across the board on what this thing is.
Yeah, what do you define the Bunyip as? You know what I mean? It's just this mess of just everything. We had to like narrow down.
We're gonna narrow it down.
Oh, goddamn.
What iteration of the Bunyip are we going with? I like the I really like the Diprotodon.
Oh yeah,
the living Diprotodon. But can you attribute some of the supernatural abilities? I hate doing supernatural abilities because I've not ever encountered anything with supernatural abilities.
Yeah. I honestly, okay, so I think when I started talking about this, I was thinking Brosno dragon, but now I'm thinking Bunyip.
Yeah.
I think I'm going Bunyip. I changed my own mind.
16 feet, Brosno
I
dragon.
saw 16 feet for Brosno dragon, but remember in the one, it said that it was 12 to 13 feet.
Yeah.
For the Bunyip, and that was maybe just its neck.
I think they're pretty well even.
There's not a significant size advantage either way. It wouldn't appear.
Dragon-like creature or mishmash of everything. I have to give it to the Bunyip. I think I'm with you on that page. The Bunyip has just a stomach mouth.
The giant single eye is definitely a vulnerability. It's a weak spot. Depth perception is going to be off. It's going to be rough for sure. But I think the supernatural abilities is just like that's got to be the tipping point where I have to be like, okay, if it's going to be close and this is part of the thing too, I have to give it that. That puts it over the edge, and I think I have to give it to Bunyip.
Yeah, I think Bunyip takes the cake.
All right. And so last week,
it looks like a Siberian tiger.
We asked this very same question on social media.
Yes, we did.
For you to answer about the Brosno dragon and mermaids, who you would think would win in that altercation. And here is what you thought.
Alrighty. On Twitter, literally everybody thought that the Brosno dragon would outweigh the mermaid.
I believe that's fair.
100%.
Again, that was what we both said as well.
On board with the Twitter followers.
How about Facebook?
Facebook was similar. Somebody broke it at the end there, like the last couple of days. somebody got their vote in for mermaids. But other than that,
There was a vote for mermaids on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, again, Brosno Dragon reigns supreme.
Over the mermaid.
The single mermaid with a spear.
Yes.
Possibly a
with
Roman sword.
With a Roman sword that he found rusted on the bottom of the ocean.
A rusty Roman sword. Took too long for the tetanus to set in.
Well, thank you to everyone who answered this week's poll.
I always enjoy when the folks out on the Twitter and Facebook universe respond to our shit.
Yeah, I honestly I do quite enjoy seeing the numbers come in on those.
So thank you very much.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks for checking out this week's episode.
If you want to get your 2 cents in, answer this week's polls on social media.
You can find us on Twitter at Count Cryptid or Counting Cryptids on Facebook.
If you have any questions, concerns, suggestions, or you just want to chat, you can email us at countingcryptids@hotmail.com.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and tell your friends.
He's been Connor.
He's been Jacob.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks for another fascinating installment of Counting Cryptids.